All right, this is a meeting of Facilities and Finance and Audit Committee. In attendance are myself, Nadine Allen, Greg here? Greg's not here, okay.
No, Greg's not here.
This report from Molly DeFosse, Fiscal Officer. Main Library Project Update. The elevator replacement work is ongoing and the completion date has been modified to July 15, 2022. Complete additional details. North Plaza work is almost complete with the exception of the wall along Prior Alley, which is expected during the month of June 2022. The library is evaluating modifications to one of the bump outs to install new entry doors with the proper vestibule off North Plaza. We're planning to issue the current available budget to complete the doors. The demolition of the South Plaza basement is ongoing. The framing of the new perimeter walls in process. Following change orders modified the elevator GMP for current construction. It's not approved, but is submitted for confirmation. One to replace existing vent piping for $14,016. Another one to addition for fire suppression requirement $44,900. Keep the project moving forward. We are requesting authorization the EJ and Maine COOM Director to modify the current agreement with Turner Construction by GMP and method as follows. South Plaza and Plaza demolition, GMP inclusive of CMR fee and CMR contingency equal to or less than $18,500. In April 2021, the overall main library project budget to North Plaza, the Plaza basement demolition, and completion of the social stair and interior renovation was set at $24 million. To accommodate the current GMP, we're requesting approval to modify the overall project budget to $30 million as follows.
Excuse me, I think I heard 18,000, or was that supposed?
It's 18
It's
million.
18 million.
18
Okay, I
million
just want-
500. Yeah.
Right. Okay. For the public listening, so they.
Yeah.
$18,500,000.
Mhm.
All right. In April, the overall main library project budget for North Plaza and so forth and so on to $30 million as follows. You may recall we increased the transfer to the building and repair fund at the end of 2021 by $4 million and result in increased PLF last year. Later in this report, we'll be sharing an update on the 2022 funding. GMP is greater than previous estimates based on market conditions and design refinement. As with and demolition, GMP, this project is very complex. Working in existing conditions will require each component of the social stair to be measured, fabricated, and installed in a linear sequence. Below is a summary of the project budget based on the increase. Molly, you want to go through that?
Sure. So I have up there the FMP funding at 30 million. As I noted before, it had been 24 and now we're adjusting it to 30. We also have had over the last year and a half or so about 700,000 in private donations to fund various components of the main library work. So in total, we have 30,700,000 of funding available. So the GMP is related to the main work, and I have on here interior estimate fall of 2021. I'll modify that. That should be actual. So the actual interior social stair is 18,500,000. The North Plaza GMP was 1,005,760, and then the demolition GMP was 5,184,542. So the total of all the GMPs is 24, a little over 24, well, almost 25 million, 24,693,02. So then the rest of the budget is furniture and fixtures at 750, technology at 600, the public art at 215, permits 400,000, and these are all placeholder amounts. The design team fees right now are at about 2,056,700. And then we do anticipate some additional design fees. And then we have some other consulting fees for the owner's rep some testing and a few other things at 626. So with this overall budget of 30,700,000, we are maintaining still almost a 5% contingency on our end by the owner. Turner does still have contingency in their GMP, but we're keeping a 5% on our side.
All right, good. We have recently added another component to the main project, which will be funded from the capital maintenance dollars of the FMP. The walls around the north parking lot on the corner of Walnut and 9th Street still need maintenance and pose several public safety concerns. We're working with design professionals in Turner to remove the brick walls and replace with decorative metal fencing. We expect this project to move quickly once we have received approval from the city. Has the city been pretty cooperative on what we've asked them to do?
I would say yes, and they've worked with us, and it has been very helpful that we have Turner and some other people as our partners. And Paula's relationship with 3CDC and the police have all helped us kind of trying to navigate some of that. So I will say yes, they are. Paula, would you agree?
I do. They have their processes and they've done their best to help us facilitate the work we need to do at a pretty prompt place. So yes, absolutely.
We have to have the temporary barriers needed to begin demolition of the existing walls installed this summer. Requesting authorization of the EVJ Maine CUM director to modify the current agreement with Turner Construction by a GMP amendment for this needed work and for the GMP total to be confirmed at the next board meeting. Right,
Mr. Hendon, just very briefly, just wanted to point out that Greg's joined us.
Hi, Greg.
I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize. I was stuck in a management discussion. I couldn't get away.
Well, you missed a lot.
Oh, it's not bad.
I'll tell you, just not being around you guys, I feel like I miss a lot. I do enjoy this group.
All right, the 2022 capital maintenance project. Plan to begin with the work at Pleasant Ridge based upon the severity of the issues there. We anticipate the GMP to be presented in August 2022 board meeting, with the work to begin in September and continue for 4 months. The branch will be closed during this time. Most of the work involves overdue exterior maintenance, interior finish work to repair the long existing plaster damage, and a few interior modifications to improve functionality. The coring work is much more extensive. There's been water getting into the building for many years. The perimeter of the building will be excavated so that the waterproofing can be done. There's a fair amount of interior work to repair the damaged walls. The interior will also receive paint and carpet. There will also be some other modifications along the next-gen library principles to improve the functionality and customer experience. We expect this work to begin in late 2022. The work is expected to last 6 months, and the branch will be closed during the work. Now, Price Hill branch accessibility. We're still working on the final closeout documents and a few remaining punch list items. We recently received lien notices from 2 subcontractors for Justin Construction. We're working with the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office to prepare the appropriate responses in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code. Marymount Exterior Courtyard Project. This work will be completed by mid-June. An opening celebration will be scheduled shortly thereafter. Price Hill Parklet. The exterior site improvement is expected to begin this summer. Thanks to the support of the Library Foundation, we'll be working with Artworks to identify a local artist to create a unique piece for this space, which will be installed in 2023. Now, the Long Hills branch accessibility. The interior finish work continues and the exterior site work has started. Exterior site work has started. We hope to have the branch open by the end of this summer. Continue to work with Model Group on opportunities to maximize the adjacencies of the 2 properties.
Mr. Hendon, can I jump in for 1 second here?
Yeah.
Because from the time we wrote this to today, as usual, things change a little bit. So we do not believe that we'll be open in the summer. If we do, it'll be on the last day of the summer. For both Walnut Hills and Madisonville, we were recently notified of longer lead times than originally anticipated for shelving. So our library shelving that we thought we were going to get in probably early July, the earliest we will get it now is probably Labor Day. So, and then it'll be several weeks before we can open after that.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
The Madisonville branch accessibility construction is moving along quickly on build out and lease space. Continue to face coordination challenges with the landlord and contractor. Library and Mega Construction are working with Ackerman landlord to resolve the issues in a timely manner to stay on schedule. Forest Park branch property exchange. We're continuing with our due diligence for the property and are working toward a property transfer of the City of Forest Park parcel to the library midsummer. Forest Park branch replacement. The design process is ongoing. We have shared high-level conceptual designs with both Forest Park officials and the community. Plans include 25,000 square foot, almost 100 parking spots, integrated exterior space, and drive-through window. Most of the interior features are of the next-gen library. In April 2022, the board approved Turner Construction as the CMR for the branch projects for 2022 through 2027, which include Forest Park. Libraries work with Turner Construction to partner with Mega Construction on the Forest Park project. Excited about the partnership and the value it will bring to the project. On the Hyde Park branch easement, 2 easements to access the sewer line library's rear parking lot were approved in April 2022. We're working to finalize the details of site improvements. There will be a short 2-week disruption of the parking lot in August when the new sewer connection is made. The remainder of the work will begin in mid-October, and we hope to align this with the interior branch work. Hyde Park branch elevator replacement and renovations. Emerson, the project architect, has been working quickly on the renovation and design to improve the location of the elevator, overall branch accessibility. Plan will also work to incorporate as many of the next-gen library principles as possible. As noted above, we anticipate this work beginning in mid-October. The branch will be closed during this renovation. Once details are finalized, the library team will work out the communication plan.
Mr. Hendon, can I jump in again here real quick?
Yep.
So the Green Township branch refresh, we can kind of skip this part. We did open bids earlier today. The estimate was $314,850, and the bids came in ranging $650 to $772.
Wow.
So we're doing a scope review right now, and we will have to rebid the project, and we're really going to have to look at it closely.
That's for Green Township, okay.
Yeah, it was somewhat, we thought they might come in kind of high. We think there might be some scope confusion on a few things. So the architects are working with the bidders right now to determine if there was any miscommunications or misunderstandings. And then if necessary, we may modify a couple components of the scope and then try again.
All right.
Who's the architect on that?
That SHP is on that one.
Is that something we did a RFP for?
No, these, because so the architect fees were under 50,000. So we can pick from our pool of architects. And then at the end of last year, what we've done the last 2 years is kind of give at the December board meeting, the board gives kind of blanket authority as long as the project. And I believe we had set the threshold at 1.5 million, as long as it's under that Paula has the authority to move forward with it, and then we'll report it back to the board. This one is just way, I mean, we don't know where the miscommunication was. We
It's
think-
okay. I just want to
some
know
things.
about how we got there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so-
we're good. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Thank you, Molly.
All right, the 2021 audit update. Done is almost finished and library staff is working to complete the comprehensive annual financial report. Currently, the auditors expect to issue a clean opinion and clean GAS opinion. And there are no management letter comments. The auditors will still send out a draft opinion, GAS opinion for each board member. The opinion will include the opinion request meeting within 5 days of receiving the email. Board may waive the post audit meeting at their discretion.
Yeah, so when you guys get that, I'll just send a follow-up email.
Okay.
It always just kind of shows up and I'll quickly try and follow up on it to remind you of what the heck it is.
Very
Well,
good.
Greg can give us a short book report on it.
I could.
Yeah. Greg, he knows what all that stands for.
Yes, I do.
All right, budget update. Overall year-to-date expenditures are within budget. Year-to-date PLF on revenue through May 21st is almost 3.7 million over projections. The additional PLF provides us with a cushion for the FMP project to help offset cost increases for labor delivery and premiums as a result of supply chain issues. We'll continue to monitor the PLF and request resource modifications later in the year. Do you want to talk about the new accounting system, please,
Sure.
Molly?
As previously reported, the library is implementing Tyler Technologies Munis ERP solution to replace our current system, which has been in place since 2012. We have been working on the configuration for the last several months, and it will continue through the early fall. And we will begin the implementation or complete the implementation effective 1/1. And the new system will provide us with improved workflow and reporting, which will result in much less processing of paper. We will implement electronic vendor payments as well as have improved transparency. And the system will also provide us with the necessary tools to expand our DEI vendor initiatives.
Good. Now, certification of achievement for excellence in financial reporting award. We didn't get a certificate for that. Financial reporting is terrible.
Stop
Hey,
that!
I'm
Stop
kidding.
that!
He just wants to see if anybody's listening.
Yeah.
We were recently notified that the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada has awarded a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting for the library for our annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended December 31, 2020. Report has been judged to be an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, which includes demonstrating a constructive spirit of full disclosure, to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the report. The certificate of achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of government, accounting, and financial reporting. As obtained, represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. Libraries receive this report every year since the first year it was completed in the mid-1990s. Congratulations, Molly.
That's wonderful.
Yes,
thanks.
congratulations.
It's a great team.
Yeah.
Group, so
We
it's a
appreciate you,
team effort.
Molly.
I had to twist her arm to get her to put that in there. She's like, "Oh, that was." I said, "Molly, put it in there. It's really important
Yeah.
people know."
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Molly.
helpful.
It's great.
If
Can
we don't
we-
get it, I'd be in bigger trouble. So,
No.
you know,
Great. Yeah, we all got on the line before this and said, if they don't have this, that's a good one.
it's trouble.
Actually,
Stage it
Nadine
too.
said that. I was like, I don't know, we should say that.
That sounds about right. That
Right?
sounds
Yeah.
about right.
So can we go back to the first 2 pages that I didn't
Yeah.
have a chance to hear today when Bob read them off, but what's the status of the situation with Guyler? Do we have an
Oh.
update on that? And do we
Oh,
have,
there is no update in this report because there is no change. There was,
Okay.
I think April 26th, there was a another mediation that was very quick. It did not last very long because it was determined there was going to be no movement made. So the attorney is proceeding through the normal processes. They're reviewing all of the documentation, doing discovery. There was some, they were going to try to have a motion to dismiss just based on procedure, but they're still working on all of that.
Okay.
There's no dates or anything set.
Okay, okay.
So Greg, we may, it may be that in August, we have another executive session request with our attorneys at that point to get an update. We were sort of hoping something might happen here that would, provide an update, but at this point it's kind of stable. So we'll put it on the radar for maybe letting you guys talk. We can see if the the prosecutor's office can stop by like they did that last time.
We touch base every about 2 weeks on it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
there's no.
Okay,
no
that's good to know. And what's the status- can we go over what's going on in the West End with our sweet little library over there?
Well, that's part of the project that we hired Immersion and Turner to do. And we have had our first round of architect visits and meeting with staff. So right now they're working on some design concepts to share with us in the next few weeks.
Okay, and is that the one we've talked about either renovating or doing something with CMHA?
So there's two things. We're renovating, and I've been on those calls with the West End Neighborhood Choice folks who are working on the Stanley Row and the Liberty complexes, but that's a multi-year project. And currently, last time they kind of gave an update, they are hoping to do upwards of 1,100 units. 500 would be not sort of for lower incomes, and then 500 would be. So they are currently this year, they're putting together the information, and then they have to ask for the money. And they ask, I think, in 2023. So then they have multiple phases. So it would be something that if we were able to be a part of that, depending on if they get funded, they had talked about us being on the far end of their phasing. So our feeling is we'll do what we have here because it needs it, but we are actively in discussions with them.
And who are they asking their money from?
It's a federal grant.
Is it a LIHTC application or is it a grant that they're going after for?
I feel like it might be a grant, but Greg, I'll look at that. I don't know if they have been specific enough, but I'm happy
to look at it with you or have my guy take a look at it just to see
what it is.
See how it would be really helpful if I think I might be able to be helpful if I'm looking at it and I can have my colleague Tim, who does affordable housing applications, if he can say if it looks like it's a site that scores well for LIHTC or if it's a different program that because he's aware of so many different buckets of money.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Which I have no idea about, but Tim
That is
knows
awesome.
it inside. and out. So it wouldn't hurt for me just to kind of slip it to him and say, well, what do you think about this? Is this something that we should even hang our hat on? But I like the fact that we're moving. I mean, I know we are working with Immersion and Messer with that branch. So we have Messer with those guys. I mean, with that location.
We have Turner. Yeah.
Yeah, I just changed the name of them. Sorry. That's probably not cool. I don't want anybody to mix me up with some other firm besides Urban Sites. So, so Turner and Immersion, and what were the other two branches? Was Hyde Park one of them?
Yeah. Turner, Immersion, and Sims Township.
Yeah.
Sims, that's right. So you brought up today Pleasant Ridge and Coreyville and
Avenue.
And Avondale, that's already been underway. But you also brought up Green Township where I live. So I was just
Green Township. Yeah, they're all
that's under that number.
Yeah, that's different.
Coreyville and Pleasant Ridge, is that under that number also?
No, that we did that last year, and we picked THP on that one. I think you were. I don't know. I think you
I was probably there. I'm just
yeah.
trying to be.
Yeah, THP is the design professional in that because that's very technical, and then Pepper is the CMR that we hired.
Okay, because that's the one like Coreyville's where we had all that water damage in the basement, right? When we were talking about the historic and when we went through we didn't think the people who also, one of the presenters knew what they were talking about, even though they should have.
Right. And those are much more maintenance-y and technical because they just need repair.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right, Greg.
I'm sorry for going backwards on you. I apologize again for being late.
Oh, no, we understand. There's a lot going on.
I feel much better about what I heard now. Okay.
And I'm the
all
only
right.
one, I'm trying to keep my head wrapped around who's doing what, where, and when,
Well,
too.
you know what?
It's massive.
Yeah, and
So-
you know what I can do is I can do a matrix of like all the projects and then who the
Thank
architect
you.
is and the time.
That's
Yeah.
exactly, you know what, it just occurred to me, the last sentence that I said out loud was, I probably need to see a graph, but it's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's called a
actually have
matrix.
Something.
You
I
guys
have
know.
Yeah.
what it's
something like
called.
that, and I'll get it
Matrix.
for you.
Yeah,
Good
that's a
idea.
great idea. Because
Yeah.
it's a lot. We have a hard time making sure that we keep track of all the timelines, much
Yeah.
less you guys. So that's a
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And Greg, I'll look at that West End neighborhood choice. They had scheduled a tour. If you guys remember, I kind of bugged
Yeah, I
everyone.
wasn't-
Hey,
I wasn't in
yeah.
town.
Well, and then they canceled it. Yeah. So I think they're still trying to kind of get their bearings on exactly what
Okay.
they're going to ask for. So I'll keep you posted. And I was just looking at that yesterday. Actually, I'll pull that out and let you
Okay.
know what I've got from them too. Because I
Yeah.
would be interested to just, I think they believe it to be a multi-phase thing. And I think they are not, when you apply for somebody else's money, you're never quite sure. So I'll keep you posted.
But,
Yeah,
so
and then
there are
we-
certain things we're doing, we're not waiting for everything that they're talking,
Right.
so we have certain things we're doing.
Yeah, we are definitely
Yeah.
moving forward on our branch.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
there's an opportunity down the road.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just, yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. And Nadine, that they aren't even applying for the money yet. So it is a multi-year situation. So,
Right.
but I think it's worth trying to determine the nature of it as they sort of unfold it during this year. They're going to be unpacking it, I think, through the rest of this year. And so they'll ask us for additional, like, hey, do you want another letter when we put this in for the formal? So we will have to sort of talk about that as we get a little bit more information. I'd love for them to do another tour. So I'll let you know if I hear from them on that one, because I think that would be very useful.
Paula, do you want to talk for a minute too, that at the meeting, that group 4 is going to be there at the beginning of the meeting?
Yes. So Group 4 is coming around to do some work with us and review everything that's going on at Main Library. And I asked them to very briefly stop by, talk about update on their project, but also do a little bit of discussion on what they're seeing in escalation and lead times across the industry, just to get it on record that, you all know this, but it's certainly not just us. So when we start talking about these dollars being different, that is not atypical. And I just asked them to say, hey, from the high level, what are you seeing? And they said, sure, they'll talk about that. So they'll do a little bit
can
about
have-
Main Library, but
I can
that
have
too.
my construction guys talk to that too, because we're
Yeah.
getting abused too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
tough.
well, it came through in that, when we opened those bids today and, working with, Turner on, all of the stuff at Maine. It's
Yeah,
like,
I'm not
oh my
surprised.
goodness.
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah. Thank goodness that state money has been higher than projected, because
Yeah.
that has allowed us to continue
Yeah,
to move
that's 3
forward,
million. That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
know. Tell
Yeah.
us about it. So, but
Say it again, that's 3 million.
Yeah.
Do you think the state money will continue due to the economic conditions that are going on?
I don't know, Mr. Hendon. Molly and I sort of talk about that all the time. And it's unclear.
Yeah,
to
and
my
even
mind.
during, there was a bit at the beginning of the pandemic where it kind of fell out, but then it just increased and people are buying stuff. I mean, people are buying things.
Yeah.
They are.
So, and
They are buying things.
that's where a lot of the money comes from, is tax dollars when people buy things.
It seems
Um,
counterintuitive, but it's actually happening.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yep.
So, now it won't, I know it
All
won't
right.
continue forever, but we're gonna maximize it right now while we can.
absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
I have to
Okay.
jump off, y'all.
Yeah. Hey,
Thanks,
good.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Nadine.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Oh, his meeting's adjourned. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Thanks,
to see you all.
Nadine.
Great.